So you find me at last, we're actually embroidering stuff. I've been transferring the markings through for each leaf with pins. So I'm doing the leaves first, and then I'm kind of going to do the stems in between just to follow along where the leaves are. The leaves are going to map out the pattern for me. It's going to be along the lines of the original, but I'm doing it my way too. So I like that sense of surrender with it. Surrendering to how the embroidery is going to look, surrendering to what I need so that my heart can be in this space. It's amazing how much you learn when you start a creative project. It's not just about the sewing and the embroidery. Last month, I said I wanted to create a sewing routine that would help me get more done faster on this project. And this month, I held a free class to help all of us build an unshakable sewing practice. As you're going to see in this video, I start out a little slow in July, and then in the last week or two, I've completely changed my schedule around, and I am moving much faster now. I've only been back in England at this place a couple of weeks, and I feel like I'm getting as much done as I did in the whole of April, which is an incredible feeling and very exciting because we're moving a little faster now. I also had a lot of fun teaching that workshop last week. So many of you showed up and said you got tons out of it. So on Thursday, August 31st, we're going to get on Zoom and do it all again. Another free class, different free class, this time with the Foundations Revealed mentors and I. This one will look at the Historical Dressmaker's Core Library. So many of you have admired the books that used to be behind me in my sewing room, so we're going to help you avoid the guesswork and make an informed investment in your passion for historical sewing with our comprehensive guide to the must-have books you need and those you don't. If you've ever felt envious of other makers' books but unsure whether you'd really get the use out of them yourself, or guilty about treating yourself to a new volume because you've bought expensive pattern weights before, or if you're stuck in a cycle of making wish lists but never knowing which books to actually buy, then this is the class for you. It's going to be free to join in so that you can learn with us and develop a structured approach to curating your own hand-picked costume book collection with intention so that you can create a useful knowledge base that will bring more insight, support and fulfillment to your work without spending a fortune or taking a lifetime over it. So I invite you to join us. If you're with me and you'd like to take part, the link to sign up for that free class is up here and in the description below, and I'll put a link at the end of this video too. And by the way, if you're watching this later, there should still be a free class coming up at that link, but it might be on a different subject. So click the link anyway to find out what the current class is. I will see you there on August the 31st. And while you do that, let's have a look at how July played out in my velvet coat project. So here is where we're at this month. We're about halfway through July and I've got a little bit more done here. You can see, I mean, this is a glass half full kind of deal when you're doing a project this big. It's no use looking at the whole enormous frame and I've only done this little bit. You have to be very glass half full about it. And I've done another bit, yay! And now we get another spanner in the works because my 90 days in the US is nearly up. So I have to go back to England. So now the question comes, how do I take this back with me? And really the solution is, I'm not going to. I realised that the cost of sending this frame back and forth is a lot more expensive than just buying a second frame. So with 6 big panels like this to do for the whole coat, I might as well have a frame on the go in each country and just go back and forth between 2 panels. That also means I don't have to finish a panel before I leave one particular place. I'm not held to a timeline like that. It means I can just keep going on each one wherever I am. And it means I don't have the whole logistical nightmare of how I take this back and forth when the velvet is now on it and we're halfway through a panel. So I have a place where I can leave this safely while I'm away. And I've already ordered a frame back in England that has already arrived at my sister's house. So we're just going to start another panel right over there. So this is where we're up to on this one. And I'm now going back to England for 2 months to start another panel there. And then I will come back and continue with this one in October, November. So it's a little complex, but we're making it work. So a little at a time is how you get there. Honestly, I am still a little bit cack-handed with the whole thing. There's a lot of threads going on. There's a lot going on underneath. I have to get on the floor and, untangle things underneath the frame. It still feels a little bit clumsy, so I'm still finding my feet with it. But as you can see, it's all very repeating type stitches, repeating type patterns. So I'm going to get faster and find my method. There's been a whole issue here with, do I lay down these threads and put them through, or do I have them on two? I'm trying now on 2 needles so they can't get too twisted. So I'm still kind of figuring out my method, but we're getting there. It's getting a little easier and a little faster. So it seems like very slow progress, and this is going to take a long time, but it will get faster and easier and more easeful. So it's just a question of patience, just a question of that glass half full thing when you're doing a big project and a long-term project. Just stay with the glass half full mentality. I did a little bit more today, woo! And there you go. So here we are back in the glorious British summer, and I have a new embroidery frame over here, embroidery frame number 2. This one is in fact long enough, so no fix required. Here is the piece we're working on next. So this, as you can see, a triangle, this is the next piece along. On the frame in America, I have the front piece, the side piece, but that side piece was very wide and we cut a piece off. So this is the rest of it. So this is the next piece I'm going to tackle. And this is one I'm going to put on this frame and work on in England. So here's the interesting thing. The new frame is a little narrower. And this piece doesn't quite fit. The frame is plenty long enough, but it's not quite wide enough. So what I've suspected for a long time, since I drew the pattern on here, is that this flower here very neatly covers the velvet all the way up there, and I've wondered for a long time whether that is also a seam. And in this case, we actually need it to be a seam, so I am going to make it a seam. So at the moment, it's a little bit this angle, as opposed to, it could be parallel to this. I'm going to move that flower, move it very slightly this way, so that it is parallel to this seam, so that I can then have this be one piece on my new frame, and then there'll be a little piece to do here to add, and that little piece will fit up here on the velvet. This was a pattern that I drew that approximated what I could see on the photos of the coat, so I think I can just move that flower slightly and make it parallel, and it will very nicely create a complete piece for me. And then I can get some fabric on this new frame and get started on this piece too. And don't forget, if you're with me and you'd like to take part in our free class about building your own library, the link to sign up for that free class is up here and in the description below, and I'll put a link at the end of this video too. So now it's time for me to move on to my next place, and I'm pretty excited about where I'm going next.